Spiritual Mountain Secret Code. Chapter 1. The valley on a rainy night always carries an indescribable coldness, and lightning cuts through the sky, reflecting on the white jade-like peaks. Ro Yun originally thought that he was just the only heir who was about to inherit the Ling mountain range, but he didn't expect this inheritance to unfold in such a bloody way. She curled up on the edge of the cave, her shoulders wet, her eyes red and swollen, and her parents' screams echoed in her ears. Sister Bai Luoyan, the person she once believed in, has now become the manipulator behind the bloody scene. Just because of her own selfish interests, she killed her parents and her family was ruined. Ro Yun's world collapsed overnight, the world was spinning, and the wind and rain were pouring, as if nature was crying for her misfortune. In the depths of the cave, there was a faint figure with a mocking smile on the corner of his mouth. Ro Yun approached tremblingly, only to see the man waving a strange wooden staff and muttering, "Little sister, are you lost again?" His tone carries an elusive sense of playfulness, but his eyes are much gentler than his mouth says. This person's name is Yun Ming's, and according to his own words, his identity is a mystery. He seemed to have extraordinary spiritual power, but for Ro Yun, the most important thing was that he was willing to reach out and pull her. In this life and death escape, although Ro Yun was just a low-level weak chicken tea cultivator, he decided to rescue Yun Ming's from danger for his own survival. This salvation changed the trajectory of her destiny and opened an unprecedented path of cultivation for her. Chapter 2. As soon as the sky was bright, the valley was filled with smoke, and Ro Yun sat on the slippery rock, holding a small jade pendant left by her parents in her hand. This jade pendant exuded a faint aura, and she felt the strange power hidden in it. Yun Ming's walked slowly from the entrance of the cave, stretched out his hand to grab the jade pendant, his eyes flashing. "This is not an ordinary spiritual weapon, do you know its value?" Ro Yun shook her head. She only knew that this was a relic of her parents, but she didn't know the secret. Yun Ming's raised a smile at the corner of his mouth. "Do you think that cultivation is just a little trick like alchemy, drawing talismans and setting up formations? You must first learn how to distinguish between spiritual plants and spiritual beasts, and master the flow of spiritual power between heaven and earth in order to truly live." Ro Yun took a deep breath. She had no turning back. From then on, she had to learn to find spiritual plants in the barren mountains and wild forests, capture spirit beasts, practice alchemy techniques, and understand fu formations. Every step is extremely difficult, but she knows that only by mastering this knowledge can she one day avenge her parents and face the sister who betrayed her. The first morning light shone into the valley, and Ro Yun jumped on his simple bag and followed Yun Ming's on the road of cultivation. In the mist, she felt an unprecedented force flowing through her body. It was spiritual energy and the beginning of her new life. Chapter 3. On this day, they encountered a rare silver-tailed fire fox deep in the valley. The fire fox's fur was silver white, but its eyes flashed with ember light, obviously with extremely strong spiritual power. Ro Yun's heart beat faster, but Yun Ming's remained calm and said with a smile, "Don't be nervous, capturing it is not only brute force, but also your state of mind." Ro Yun followed Yun Ming's instructions and began to try to establish a spiritual contract with Firefox. Her fingers trembled slightly, but she felt that the Firefox seemed to be testing her heart. This was a wonderful telepathy that made her truly experience for the first time that practice is not only an external force, but also an internal balance of mind. At the moment when Firefox was about to escape, a thought flashed through Ro Yun's mind: if I can truly master this power, maybe one day, I can defeat my sister and regain everything that belongs to me. The Firefox felt her determination and stopped, with a soft light in her eyes, and she took the initiative to approach. Yun Ming's observed silently from the side, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. "Well, yes, this is the first time you have truly understood the heart of a spirit beast." Chapter 4. In the morning mist of the mountains and forests, Ro Yun and Yun Ming's walked all the way. The soil under her feet was muddy from the rain, and the water droplets dripping from the leaves fell on her shoulders. Yun Ming suddenly stopped and pointed to an ancient tree. "Look, there is something under that tree." Ro Yun looked along his fingers and saw an old wooden box half buried in the soil. She picked it up carefully, and the wooden box was engraved with strange runes, as if it was beating slightly. When the wooden box was opened, a fragrance mixed with spiritual grass and old breath came to the nose, and inside was actually an ancient scroll and a few strange stones. "Is this?" Ro Yun was puzzled. Yun Ming smiled. "This is a fragment of the Spirit Mountain Secret Code, which is said to record the secret method of the ancient Great Spirit Master. If you can collect them completely, I am afraid that your cultivation will be able to break through ordinary people 100 times. Ro Yun's eyes lit up, and her heart was both excited and apprehensive. She knew that searching for fragments of the secret scriptures meant risking countless dangers, not only spirit beasts, poisonous herbs, but also sinister cultivators. But she had no way out, so she decided to put away the wooden box carefully and move on. Chapter 5. Not far away, a low beast roar suddenly sounded in the thick fog, shaking the branches. Ro Yunyu and Yunmings looked at each other, and their hearts were alert at the same time. As the roar approached, a huge spirit wolf appeared in front of their eyes. Its whole body was silver gray, its eyes burned like flames, and its tail flashed with electric light. This is the Thunder Spirit Wolf, extremely powerful. It may be difficult for the two of us to deal with it alone. Yunming's brows furrowed slightly. Ro Yunyu took a deep breath, recalling the mental method and spiritual energy flow she had just learned. She knew that if she could not quickly master the spiritual power, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yunming snorted coldly, and a silver light drew from the wooden staff in his hand. I will hold it back, and you try to establish a spiritual contract with it. She trembled and stretched out her hand, closed her eyes, and completely integrated her mind into the aura of the Thunder Spirit Wolf. The Spirit Wolf roared low, but did not attack, as if he could feel the determination and kindness in her heart. After a few breaths, the Thunder Spirit Wolf finally stopped, lowered his head, and a trace of approval flashed in his eyes. Ro Yunyu's heart warmed. This was the first time she had truly communicated with the heart of a powerful spirit beast. Yunming smiled and said, "Yes, your potential is greater than I imagined." Chapter 6. After forming a contract with the Thunder Spirit Wolf, Ro Yunyu felt that the spiritual power in his body flowed more smoothly. Yunming's led her into a hidden valley, where many rare spiritual plants grew, as well as strangely shaped flowers glowing in the mist. This is Ghost Valley, and it is extremely difficult for ordinary cultivators to step in. Yunming's pointed to a spiritual grass emitting dark blue light. That's Yalanji. Refining it into an elixir can prolong life, and it can also increase the upper limit of spiritual power. Ro Yunyu carefully picked the spiritual grass, feeling the spiritual power flowing in her hands, as if countless thin threads passed through her fingertips and poured into her body. She understood that every time she touched the spiritual grass, it was a test of her state of mind and strength. Suddenly, there was a burst of laughter from the depths of the valley, with a strange magnetism. "Ha! I didn't expect someone to break into my territory and dare to touch my spiritual grass." Ro Yunyu and Yunmings immediately became alert, and a man wearing a dark purple robe gradually appeared in front of him, with sharp eyebrows and eyes, holding a black staff in his hand, and his spiritual power fluctuated like a wave. This was the first time Ro Yunyu had encountered such a majestic opponent. Her heart was beating like a drum, but she silently thought in her heart, "No matter what, I can't back down." Chapter 7. The man in the dark purple robe stepped lightly into the valley, and as the staff was swung, black smoke rose from the ground, as if there were countless black snakes crawling. Ro Yunyu and Yunmings took a few steps back at the same time, and the spiritual energy surged in their bodies, warning of the approaching danger. "Who are you? How dare you trespass into Ghost Valley?" the man said in a cold tone, his eyes sweeping across Ro Yunyu like a knife. The corners of Yunming's mouth raised slightly, and the wooden staff in his hand lit up with silver light. "I saved this little girl. I think you have misunderstood." The man sneered, and the staff in his hand transformed into countless black shadows, charging straight at him. Ro Yunyu dodged instinctively, but was still knocked back several steps, nearly falling into the abyss of the valley. At this moment, a trace of inspiration suddenly flashed in her heart, and she cast the spiritual power transfer method she had just learned, echoing the power of the Thunder Spirit Wolf. The moment the black shadow approached her, it was repelled by lightning, and dazzling sparks burst out. Yunmings nodded slightly. "Very good, you are starting to know how to integrate spirit beasts with your own power." The man's brows furrowed, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. "Your strength. So strong. Chapter 8. After a short fight, the man retreated outside the valley, and the black mist dissipated like a tide. Ro Yunyu's breath was unstable, and his palms were still trembling slightly, but his eyes became firm. Yunmings helped her sit down and took out a bottle of transparent liquid from his arms. This is the essence of the spiritual spring, which can quickly restore spiritual power, especially effective for beginners. Ro Yunyu took it carefully, feeling that the spiritual power was injected into his body like river water, and the whole person instantly became much lighter. She looked at the valley in the distance, secretly warning herself in her heart, the road ahead will be more dangerous than this one just now. You must learn not only to rely on spirit beasts, but also to master the rhythm of your own spiritual power, so that you can survive against stronger opponents. Yunming spoke earnestly. Ro Yun nodded. She understood that she was no longer the weak girl who could only dodge, but the one who embarked on the path of true cultivation. Chapter 9. Yunming's took her into the depths of the Ghost Valley and came to a hidden cave. The stone walls inside the cave were carved with ancient runes, shimmering with faint light, as if whispering ancient secret techniques. This is the primary formation testing ground, and you must complete the challenge to further master spiritual power and formations. Yunming's put his hand on the entrance of the cave, the runes flashed, and the cave suddenly lit up with blue light, forming a strange space. Ro Yun jumped into it, the spiritual energy surged around, and the runes on the stone wall wandered around as if they were alive. She followed Yunming's instructions and drew the first simple formation, but her spiritual power was still unstable, and the runes failed many times. Just when she was discouraged, the Thunder Spirit Wolf let out a low roar, and a light of wisdom flashed in her eyes, as if guiding her in the direction of correcting the formation. Ro Yunyu's heart suddenly enlightened, and he cast the spell again. This time, the runes shone steadily, forming a complete formation, pulling the spiritual power in the cave in an orderly manner. Yunming's nodded outside. Very good, you have successfully mastered formation control for the first time. This is an important milestone for practitioners. Chapter 10. After completing the primary formation, Ro Yunyu felt that his whole person was different. She could feel the flow of spiritual power more keenly, and could detect subtle changes in spiritual grass, spirit beasts, and even the air. Just as she was immersed in it, there was a slight footstep at the entrance of the cave, accompanied by a low laugh. Ro Yunyu immediately became alert and silently thought in his heart, no matter who it is, I must protect myself. Walking into the cave was a girl in a golden robe, with a cold face and a crystal ball that shone blue in her hand. The girl spoke, my name is Shui Liu, you have destroyed my territory, and now you must accept my test. Ro Yunyu's heart was shocked. This girl's spiritual power fluctuated more sharply than the man in the dark purple robe just now. The Thunder Spirit Wolf roared, and a hint of solemnity flashed in Yunming's eyes. This time, Ro Yunyu understood that her practice had just begun, and more difficult challenges awaited her. Chapter 11. The appearance of Shui Liu was like a biting cold wind in the cold winter, and the spiritual energy in the cave was also surging due to her power. Ro Yunyu clenched his fists, silently reciting the practice method in his heart, feeling the spiritual power in his body rushing like a tide. The Thunder Spirit Wolf stood beside her, its tail gently slapping the ground, and roaring in warning. Shui Liu waved the crystal ball lightly, and in an instant, the cave turned into an icy blue illusion. The air was filled with cold air, and every step was like stepping on a sharp ice blade. Ro Yunyu almost slipped, but she gritted her teeth to stabilize her figure, flowing her spiritual power into every inch of the land under her feet, making herself as stable as a tree rooted in the earth. Do you think you can deal with me like this? Shui Liu's laughter was cold, the crystal ball emitted light, and countless water shadow phantom beasts appeared in the illusion, instantly surrounded by Ro Yunyu. Ro Yunyu broke out in a cold sweat in her heart, but she understood that escaping would not help. She called the Thunder Spirit Wolf, and at the same time integrated her mind into the spiritual energy flow method, fighting with the phantom beast. Every spiritual power release brought thunder flashes to repel some of the water shadows, but the illusion was still overwhelming. She concentrated her mind and completely fused with the spiritual power of the Thunder Spirit Wolf. Shui Liu's eyes flashed with surprise. She took a few steps back, and whispered, not bad. It is indeed a potential cultivator. Chapter 12. After the battle, Ro Yun sat at the entrance of the cave, wiping the sweat from his forehead, and his spiritual power was still surging in his body. Yunming's walked over silently, holding an ancient tree seed in his hand, exuding a faint light. This is a spiritual wood seed that can take root in your body, absorb the spiritual power of heaven and earth, and help your cultivation break through. He said. Ro Yunyu took the seed and felt a warm power quickly seeping into his body. The seed slowly took root in her denshin, ready to move as if they were alive. For the first time, she truly felt the sense of growth brought by her practice, not only the increase in strength, but also the resonance between her soul and heaven and earth. Suddenly, there was a rumbling sound from the distance of the valley, like the echo of the mountains being shaken. Yunming's frowned slightly. It's not good, there are powerful spirit beasts or cultivators approaching, we have to leave immediately. Ro Yunyu's heart tightened, but she also secretly looked forward to this as another opportunity for her to practice and truly verify her strength. Chapter 13. After leaving the Ghost Valley, they stepped into an ancient forest shrouded in mist, where the trees twisted and towered, swinging their branches and leaves as if they were consciously swaying. Ro Yunyu felt that his spiritual energy fluctuated abnormally, and thought to himself, this forest is by no means an ordinary spiritual land. A blurred figure emerged from the fog, wearing a grey robe and a veil, with an ethereal and eerie voice. You break into my realm, everyone will pay the price. Yunming's frowned and warned Ro Yunyu to stay alert. The mist quickly condensed, forming dozens of blurry phantoms that surrounded them. Ro Yunyu silently recited the mind method in his heart, his fingers gently swiped through the air, guiding the spiritual power to his body, forming a protective light shield as thin as a cicada's wings. When the phantom attacked her, she was knocked back by just a light touch of the light mask. Just as she was surprised by her defense, a whisper suddenly came from the mist, your connection with the Thunder Spirit Wolf. Extremely unusual. Her heart was shocked, and the mist condensed into a huge spirit fox phantom, her eyes flashing green, approaching step by step. Ro Yunyu and Thunder Spirit Wolf prepared to fight at the same time, secretly telling herself in her heart, this is the real test of her cultivation. Chapter 14. The spirit fox phantom attacked fiercely, as fast as the wind, its tail swept across the ground with a green light, and every blow could make the dirt fly. Ro Yunyu cooperated with the Thunder Spirit Wolf to use the spiritual power flow method to pull the power of the phantom, gradually limiting it to a certain range. The battle lasted for a long time, and Ro Yunyu's physical and spiritual power reached its limit, but she did not flinch. She recalled the night her parents were killed, and her determination burned like fire. Only by being stronger could she protect herself and take revenge. Under the echo of the Thunder Spirit Wolf, she finally found the flaw in the phantom, integrated her mind into the spiritual power of her palm, and a thunderbolt burst out of her hand like a dragon, hitting the core of the spirit fox phantom. The phantom instantly disintegrated, turning into green light and disappearing. Yunming's nodded silently on the side. This time, you not only repelled the phantom, but also crossed a level of fusion of state of mind and spiritual power. Chapter 15. After the battle, Gulin returned to calm, but there was still a faint aura in the air. Ro Yunyu knelt on the ground, feeling sore all over his body, but his heart was extremely full. The Thunder Spirit Wolf squatted quietly beside her, its tail tapping on the ground, as if comforting her. Yunming's handed her the scroll in his hand, which was densely filled with talisman formations and spirit beast mental techniques. You already have the initial strength, but the real practice is to face the unknown, face strong enemies, and face people's hearts. Yunming's tone was deep. You have to remember that the power of the Ling Shan secret book is not only to enhance spiritual power, but also to change the order of the world. Ro Yun leaped to take the scroll, her eyes flashing with resoluteness. She knew that this was just the beginning, and a more difficult and bizarre journey was waiting for her, and she would gradually uncover the truth about her sister Bai Luoyan's conspiracy. Chapter 16. The morning mist in the depths of the ancient forest has not dissipated, and Ro Yunyu and Yunming's move forward along the winding path, stepping on the wet fallen leaves with every step under their feet, rustling. The Thunder Spirit Wolf vigilantly circled around her, the tips of his ears moved slightly, sensing the subtle spiritual power fluctuations around him. There is an abnormal. Here, Ro Yunyu whispered. At this moment, a strangely shaped spirit bird suddenly appeared in the bushes, with purple-red feathers all over its body and a sharp beak shining with sharp light. Yunming's frowned. The blood feather phantom bird is extremely rare. If it is attacked by it, half of its spiritual power may be withdrawn. The spirit bird screamed, and the flapping of its wings brought a fierce wind, pounced on the soft clouds. She immediately called the Thunder Spirit Wolf, integrating the spiritual power into her palms, and the lightning and storm intertwined at the same time. The phantom bird did not flinch, but turned the wind into a phantom to surround them. Ro Yunyu was anxious and tried to use her spiritual power to break through the phantom, but found that there was a strange power hidden in the phantom, which doubled her spiritual power consumption. This time, she realized that force alone could not cope with it, and she had to use wisdom and state of mind fusion method. She closed her eyes, felt the fluctuations in the spirit bird's heart, and tried to establish a psychic connection with it. Under the purple and red feathers, a trace of doubt and vigilance flashed in the eyes of the phantom bird, as if measuring her sincerity. Ro Yunyu smiled slightly, stretched out his hand, and silently muttered in his heart, I am not an enemy, I just want to learn. The phantom bird suddenly stopped attacking and slowly landed in front of her, its feathers emitting a soft light. For the first time, she felt that practice is not only power, but also a kind of understanding and spiritual communication. Chapter 17. After forming a contract with the blood feather phantom bird, Ro-Yunya felt that the flow of his spiritual power was accelerating, and the thunder and purple-red light were intertwined in his body, like the essence of heaven and earth resonating in his body. Yunming's nodded slightly. You have begun to truly grasp the mystery of the fusion of mind and spiritual power. They walked along the depths of the ancient forest and encountered a lake shrouded in white mist. The water was crystal clear, but it emitted an eerie glow. Ro-Yunyu squatted down to observe, and countless shadows of water spirits vaguely appeared in the lake, each shadow fluctuating with spiritual power. This is a phantom water lake. The water spirits in the lake are extremely sensitive, and the slightest offense will attract attacks. Yunming's warned. Ro-Yunyu took a deep breath and slowly put his hand into the lake, feeling the thoughts of the water spirit. The surface of the lake suddenly rippled, and the water spirits gathered like silver light, surrounding her. The thunder spirit wolf roared lowly, helping to stabilize the water spirit's emotions. In the shimmering water, Ro-Yunya felt the complete spiritual power feedback for the first time, and her cultivation broke through further, and the spiritual energy in her body was like a rushing river, endless. Chapter 18. After the lakeside practice was over, they continued to move forward, and suddenly a golden light appeared over the valley, like a falling meteor, hitting the distant mountain peak. Ro-Yunyu's heart moved, and her intuition told her that the light was closely related to the secret of the spiritual mountain secret code. Yunming's frowned. That's a signal left by the ancient spirit formation. If you want to break through your cultivation, you must go and explore. They climbed over the steep cliffs, encountering various spirit beasts and spiritual grasses along the way, and even several powerful cultivators guarding the ancient mountain path. For the first time, Ro-Yunya felt that the path of practice is not alone, but a test full of challenges and wisdom. As they crossed a rocky forest, a strange voice came from the rocks. Heir to the spirit mountain, are you ready to face the true power? Ro-Yunyu's heart was shocked. He clenched the scroll, and his eyes were resolute. I'm ready. Chapter 19. At the top of the mountain, they encountered a huge stone gate surrounded by thunder, which was engraved with ancient runes, exuding extreme coercion. Yunming's explained, this is the Spirit Mountain Soul Suppression Gate, only the Spirit Mountain Air can activate it, otherwise it will be shocked and injured, and the spiritual power will be drained at worst. Ro-Yunyu took a deep breath and placed her hand on the rune, feeling a strong spiritual power resonating with the spiritual energy in her body. Thunder and purple light intertwined in her body, as if the energy of heaven and earth was rushing through her body. The stone door slowly opened, revealing a deep cavern inside, which emitted a mysterious power, like a light that could penetrate the soul. Ro-Yunya was both apprehensive and excited. She knew that there might be important clues hidden in the cave to the Lingshan secret code, or it could be a test of life and death. The thunder spirit wolf roared alertly, its body emitting thunder slightly, obviously feeling the powerful spiritual power fluctuations in the cave. Yunming said calmly, be careful, every step may determine life and death. Chapter 20. In the depths of the cave, Ro-Yunyu found an ancient altar with a crystal ball placed on the altar, emitting a pale blue light. As she approached, the crystal ball suddenly floated, forming a light screen that reflected ancient pictures. In the picture, fragments of the Lingshan secret book are scattered all over the place, and record the spiritual wisdom and forbidden spells of ancient great spiritual masters. Ro-Yunya was shocked and understood that he had embarked on a journey to truly find the secret scriptures. Suddenly, a deep voice rang out from the depths of the cave, mortal, you dare to touch the forbidden land of Lingshan. You must pay the price. A black shadow quickly burst out, like entities and phantoms intertwined, with an aura of destruction. Ro-Yunya clenched the scroll in her hand and fought side by side with the thunder spirit wolf. She knew that this battle would truly test her cultivation results and mind. Chapter 21. The moment the black shadow struck, the spiritual energy in the cave surged, and the air vibrated as if it was being torn apart. Ro-Yunyu instinctively summoned the thunder spirit wolf to his side, and the spiritual power of the two fused to form a protective barrier of lightning and purple-red light. The black shadow suddenly turned into countless black light blades, spinning and flying. Each light blade carried the power absorbed by spiritual power. Royun jumped his fingers and flew, summoning the primary formation in the scroll. The light collided with the black blade, bursting out dazzling sparks. At this moment, for the first time, she truly felt the limits of her practice, not only power, but also control of her state of mind. Every gesture must be precise, and every breath must be at the same frequency as the spiritual power. The thunder spirit wolf roared lowly, and the flapping of its tail brought thunder and lightning to impact the black shadow, causing it to retreat slightly. Royun grabbed the flaw, and a bolt of thunder shot out from the palm of his hand like a dragon, hitting the core of the black shadow, and the black shadow exploded with a bang, turning into countless black fragments and dissipating. Yunming's nodded silently beside him, a hint of praise flashing in his eyes. In this battle, you not only repelled the enemy, but also began to understand how to control spiritual power at the limit. Chapter 22. After the war, the cave returned to tranquility, and Royun was exhausted, but his heart was full of a sense of accomplishment. She walked towards the altar, the crystal ball still floating in the air, reflecting a map of the fragments of the ancient spiritual mountain secret scriptures. Every fragment contains supreme spiritual wisdom, but there are also countless dangers. You must be careful. Yunming's reminded. Royun nodded and carefully studied the light screen, finding debris scattered in dangerous places such as dark forests, lava valleys, frozen lakes, and ethereal mountain tops. She secretly made up her mind, no matter what, she wanted to collect the secret codes, master the power, and uncover the conspiracy of her sister Bai Luoyan. The thunder spirit wolf roared low, as if encouraging her. Royun felt that the spiritual power in his body was purer and more powerful than ever, as if the essence of heaven and earth had gathered here. Chapter 23. After leaving the Spirit Mountain Soul Suppression Gate, they stepped into the dark forest. In this forest, the trees are like huge tentacles, the spiritual energy is chaotic, and the ground traps hide poisonous gas and spirit insects. Royun walked carefully, feeling the flow of spiritual energy with every step to avoid falling into traps. Suddenly, a group of strange beasts appeared, their bodies were translucent, and their eyes emitted green light. They besieged collectively, extremely fast, and Royun had to use spiritual power to control the surrounding spiritual plants, summoning vines and thunder and lightning to assist in defense. The battle lasted for many breaths, and she was exhausted, but this time she didn't just dodge, but learned to use the environment to cooperate with the spirit beast to gradually force the enemy back. In the depths of the forest, she picked up an ancient talisman that emitted a strange light, as if it could raise the limit of her spiritual power. Royun put it away carefully, secretly marveling in his heart, every step of the practice is full of unpredictable opportunities. Chapter 24. In the depths of the dark forest, Royun and Yunming's met a white-haired old man holding a long staff in his hand and deep eyes. The old man spoke, "Are you the heir to the Spirit Mountain? If you want to pass through the forest, you must be tested. The test is not a battle, but a test of the soul." Royun was introduced into the illusion, and the scene of her parents being murdered and the image of her sister Bai Luoyan sneering appeared in front of her. In the illusion, she felt intense fear, sadness, and helplessness. Royun closed his eyes and silently recited the state of mind method of the Yunming sect, fusing emotions with spiritual power, and gradually turning the illusion into a part of his own power. In the end, she broke through the psychological defense line, and the illusion turned into countless points of light and dissipated. The old man nodded slightly and said with a smile, "You passed. The state of mind is enough to withstand the real spiritual power." At this moment, she understood that practice is not only an increase in strength, but also a tempering of the mind and emotions. Chapter 25. After traversing the dark forest, they arrive at the lava valley. The lava in the valley rolled, the flames soared into the sky, the heat was overwhelming, and the spiritual power flowed like a flame vortex, extremely dangerous. Royun took a deep breath and integrated the power of the thunder spirit wolf and the blood feather phantom bird into his own spiritual power to stabilize his state of mind. In the center of the lava valley, there was a fire crystal floating, which was another fragment of the Spirit Mountain secret code. Guarding the fire crystal was a lava dragon, its whole body burning with flames, its eyes shining with wisdom and vigilance. Yunyu realized that the fragments could not be obtained by force alone. She closed her eyes and completely integrated her state of mind and spiritual power between the fire crystal and the dragon, trying to establish a spiritual connection with the dragon. A surprised light flashed in the dragon's eyes, and finally slowly lowered its head, and the flames converged slightly. Yunyu carefully removed the fire crystals. The thunder spirit wolf and the blood feather phantom bird guarded both sides. She felt that her spiritual power had increased significantly again. This was the first time she felt the true power of gathering spiritual power and wisdom. Chapter 26. After leaving the lava valley, Yunyu felt her spiritual power surging, and the thunder and fire crystal power in her body blended, like the essence of heaven and earth rushing in her body. Yunming's looked at her in a serious tone. Your strength is growing rapidly, but the road ahead is still full of dangers. They stepped into a land of towering clouds, where the mountains were jagged, the fog was like the sea, and the aura was strong and chaotic. Yun leaped through the clouds and mist, feeling like stepping on a pumice stone under her feet, and every step could lead to falling into the abyss. The thunder spirit wolf followed closely beside her, her tail flapping to stir the spiritual energy, making her stabilize her figure. Suddenly, a huge cloud snake appeared in front of him, with a translucent body and thunder and lightning flashing in his eyes. The cloud snake roared, bringing a strong wind and thunder, and pounced directly on her. Yun took a deep breath, integrating the power of fire crystals and blood feather phantom birds into his palms, and released thunder and fire together with the thunder spirit wolf. The cloud snake felt the oppression of the power, and its body dodged like fog, but it was still swept by the thunder and fire beams, letting out a deafening roar. For the first time, Yunyu felt that in the face of a powerful spirit beast, the fusion of state of mind and spiritual power was the key to determining victory or defeat. Chapter 27. After the cloud snake retreated, Yunyu walked along the ridge and found a hidden ancient bridge with clouds and mist rolling under the bridge, as if connecting to another unknown realm. Yunming's warned her, the bridge is full of illusions and spiritual energy vortexes, and anyone who is impetuous may fall. Yunyu stepped on the ancient bridge carefully, feeling like stepping on a floating light under her feet with every step. A phantom suddenly appeared on the bridge deck, like countless palms trying to grab her ankles. She silently chanted the mind method in her heart, adjusting her spiritual power and the power of the thunder and fire spirit beast to the extreme to defuse the phantom's attack. Just as she was walking to the middle of the bridge, a voice sounded, like a natural sound, "Heir to Spirit Mountain, is your state of mind strong enough to withstand true power?" Yunyu's heart was shocked, and she understood that this voice came from the consciousness of Ling Shan itself, reminding her that practicing is not just strength, but also a test of wisdom and state of mind. Chapter 28. After passing through the ancient bridge, they came to the top of the ethereal mountain, where the peak was floating in mid-air, with the tide of aura and visions. In the center of the mountain top was a giant crystal tower, emitting a dark blue light, which was another fragment of the Spirit Mountain secret code. However, the guardian of the crystal tower was not an ordinary spirit beast, but a cultivator wearing a black gold battle robe, with a spear in his hand with the power of thunder and flames. The other party's eyes were sharp and his tone was cold. "If you want to get the fragments, pass my test first." Yunyu clenched the scroll and fire crystal. The thunder spirit wolf and the blood feather phantom bird moved with her, and a fierce confrontation broke out between the two sides in an instant. The fire and thunder in the air were intertwined, and the entire mountain top was shaken by the strong spiritual power fluctuations and trembled slightly. This battle made Yunyu realize that practice is not only a contest of spiritual power, but also an all-round challenge to the state of mind, strategy, and control of spirit beasts and the environment. Chapter 29. After a hard battle, the black gold cultivator was finally forced to retreat by the power of the fusion of Yunyu's state of mind and spiritual power, and the fragments of the crystal tower slowly floated down, emitting a dark blue light and falling into her hands. After she felt this fragment blend with the power of fire crystals and thunder, her spiritual power increased significantly. Yunming looked at her with a smile in his tone. "You have initially mastered the fusion method of fragment power, but the real trial has just begun." Yunyu felt the spiritual power in her body rushing like a river. She understood that she was moving towards the true successor of the spiritual mountain, and the conspiracy clues of her sister Bai Luoyan were also quietly emerging. Chapter 30. On the way down the mountain, Royunyu discovered a hidden spiritual field, where the spiritual energy was strong, and countless spiritual plants and spiritual grasses were hidden in the soil, and even had a faint spirit beast aura. Yunming's reminded her, this is the spiritual source of the spiritual mountain. If you want to break through, you must first absorb spiritual energy from the spiritual plant and protect yourself carefully. Royunyu carefully picked spiritual plants, introduced spiritual energy into his body, and felt the spiritual power flowing through various meridians, reaching an unprecedented balance between strength and state of mind. For the first time, she understood that cultivation was not simply to improve combat power, but to integrate with the essence of heaven and earth, spirit beasts and spiritual plants. At this moment, a familiar voice sounded on the edge of the spiritual field, Royunyu, your progress is really beyond my expectations. She looked up and saw a figure looming in the clouds in the distance. It was her sister Bai Luoyan. Royunyu's heart was shocked, and he understood that the real showdown was quietly approaching. Chapter 31. Royun stared into the distance. Bai Luoyan's figure faintly appeared in the clouds, and complex emotions surged in her heart, both anger and confusion about past family affection. The thunder spirit wolf roared low, as if reminding her, the real enemy was ahead, and she could no longer be soft-hearted. Yunming said in a deep voice, my sister's strength is higher than we imagined. She has already mastered some of the secret techniques of Spirit Mountain. If you want to compete with it, you must quickly break through the bottleneck of your practice. They walked along the cloud path, and suddenly the fog churned, and a ghostly light python burst out of the fog like a spirit shadow. Its whole body emitted blue-black light with wisdom and hostility in its eyes. Royunyu summoned the blood feather phantom bird and the thunder spirit wolf, and simultaneously performed the thunder and fire fusion technique, engaging in a fierce battle with the python. The ghostly light python was extremely fast, and every attack brought strong spiritual power fluctuations, swirling the surrounding clouds and mist into a whirlpool. Royunyu calmed down, recalled the state of mind method, and introduced spiritual power into the phantom beast and fused with himself, using telepathy to control the battle. After several breaths of fierce confrontation, she finally suppressed the dark light python in the air, forcing it to retreat into the fog and disappear. Yunming nodded slightly, your spiritual power and state of mind have reached a higher level, but the road to cultivation is still long. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 32. After the ghostly light python disappeared, they came to the deep valley of the clouds, in which countless ancient Fu formations floated, flickering like galaxies. Royunyu felt that the Fu formation contained extremely strong spiritual power. If he could master the mystery in it, his cultivation could be broken through again. She carefully walked into the center of the Fu formation, the formation recorded in the scroll intertwined with the spiritual power in her heart, forming a wonderful resonance. The thunder spirit wolf and the blood feather phantom bird were beside her to help guide the spiritual energy, and the thunder and fire light all over her body were intertwined, like the essence of heaven and earth rushing in her body. Suddenly, a strong fluctuation struck, and the Fu array seemed to consciously challenge her spiritual power. Royunyu was slightly shocked, but quickly adjusted his breathing, completely integrating his state of mind and spiritual power. The light of the Fu array flashed instantly, and the surrounding spiritual energy poured into her body like a tide, and the spiritual power increased again. Yunming looked at her with a hint of relief. You have begun to understand the true meaning of the fusion of spiritual power and the essence of heaven and earth. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 33. After the Deep Valley practice was over, Royunyu felt that the spiritual power in his body was stable and powerful, and the thunder and fire light and the power of the blood feather phantom bird were perfectly integrated. Yunming pointed into the distance, and a floating mountain faintly flashed with silver-white light. There is a frozen lake, and another fragment of the spiritual mountain secret book is in it. They stepped into the frozen lake. The surface of the lake was covered with thin ice, and there was an unknown spiritual energy vortex rolling underwater. Royunyu felt that the spiritual power was flowing abnormally, and the lake seemed to be conscious, trying to block outsiders. Just as she was about to go deep into the bottom of the lake, the ice cracked, and an ice crystal spirit dragon appeared. Its whole body was crystal clear and transparent, with a stern light in its eyes. The spirit dragon instantly stirred up water waves and ice blade attacks, forcing Royunyu and the phantom beast to join forces to defend. She took a deep breath and introduced the thunder and fire fusion power into her body, controlling the ice-water spiritual energy, and gradually establishing a spiritual connection with the spirit dragon. After a long period of negotiation and trials, the ice crystal spirit dragon finally accepted her wish and handed over the fragment to her. At this moment, Royunyu felt the true meaning of cultivation, the balance of strength, wisdom, and state of mind, in order to resonate with the spirit beasts of heaven and earth. underscore 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 un. Chapter 34. After collecting the frozen lake fragments, Ro Yunyu and Yunming's embarked on the road back. Yunming's told her that Bai Luoyan had noticed her progress and began to secretly set traps. Ro Yunyu's heart tightened, understanding that family grievances would inevitably be entangled with cultivation. Walking to the top of the clouds, she suddenly felt the fluctuations of familiar spiritual power. It was her sister Bai Luoyan. Bai Luoyan stood in the clouds, waving her hands, the golden light in her hands flowed, and her momentum was fierce. Ro Yunyu, you have grown a lot, but your strength is still not enough to match mine. Bai Luoyan's tone was mocking and coercive. Ro Yunyu clenched the scroll and fire crystal, the thunder spirit wolf and the blood-feathered phantom bird moved with her, her eyes resolute. I will not back down, no matter how strong I am, I will uncover your conspiracy. The spiritual power of the two collided, the clouds shook, and the thunder and fire intertwined, as if the heavens and the earth were trembling for it. This battle will determine the future of the family and will also test the results of Ro Yunyu's cultivation. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 35. At the beginning of the battle, Bai Luoyan's spiritual power poured out like a tide. Her attacks were fierce and precise, and every swing brought up the energy of golden light and thunder and fire. Ro Yunyu resisted with all his might, integrating the power of thunder, fire and blood feather phantom bird into himself to form a strong protection while looking for opportunities to counterattack. Bai Luoyan sneered, using the family's secret method, transforming countless clones and attacking from all sides. Ro Yunyu thought to herself, strength alone is not enough to win, she must combine her state of mind and spiritual wisdom to break through the encirclement. She closed her eyes and completely integrated her state of mind into the spiritual power flow method, forming a trinity of power with the thunder spirit wolf and the blood feather phantom bird, and suddenly, a purple-red thunderbolt burst out of her palm like a dragon, breaking through Bai Luoyan's phantom and forcing her to retreat. Bai Luoyan's eyes flashed with surprise and unwillingness. She understood that this once weak sister now had mastered true spiritual power and wisdom. Ro Yunyu's eyes were resolute, and she secretly told herself, the path of cultivation has just begun, and the secret of the real family conspiracy and the secret of the spiritual mountain secret code is still waiting for her to uncover. Chapter 36. After Bai Luoyan was repulsed, traces of thunder and fire and golden light remained on the clouds, and Ro Yunyu's breath was rapid, but she felt a fullness she had never experienced before. The thunder spirit wolf squatted beside her, its tail tapping on the ground, as if to remind her to stay alert. Yunming walked up to her and took out an ancient jade slip from his arms. This is the family secret method recorded in the spiritual mountain. If you want to finally fight against Bai Luoyan, you must understand the mystery. Ro Yunyu opened the jade slip and found that it contained not only the spiritual power operation method, but also the mental methods and forbidden techniques of the family generation. She was shocked and understood that she had to absorb and understand quickly, otherwise she would have no advantage in the face of her sister's power. Just as she was concentrating on her studies, the clouds suddenly shook, the thunder spirit wolf roared, and a sea of black clouds appeared in the distance, like a giant mouth that devoured heaven and earth. Ro Yunyu's heart tightened, knowing that a new crisis was coming. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 37. In the sea of black clouds, a humanoid spirit shadow gradually condensed, carrying dark spiritual power, emitting an aura of destruction. Yunming frowned. This is an ancient spirit shadow beast. It has not appeared for 1,000 years. It is extremely powerful. You must go all out. The spirit shadow beast attacked fiercely, bringing up air vortexes, and the thunder and fire and dark spiritual power intertwined into a storm of destruction. Ro Yunyu felt unprecedented oppression, and the spiritual power in his body was almost shaken. She recalled her mental method, integrated the power of thunder and fire, blood feather phantom bird and ice crystal fragments into herself, and her mind was fully opened, turning the spiritual energy around her body into a shield. Every time the spiritual power was released, it brought up dragon-like light and shadow, fighting with the spirit shadow beast. After fighting for a long time, Ro Yunyu finally grasped the flaw, and a purple-red thunderbolt penetrated the core of the spirit shadow beast, forcing it to retreat from the clouds and disappear into the black mist. She felt the spiritual power surging all over her body, as powerful as a rebirth. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 38. After the battle, Yunming took her to the cloud cliff, overlooking the entire spiritual mountain. The peaks stretched like waves, the clouds rolled, and the spiritual power fluctuated like a tide. You have collected 3 fragments of the Spirit Mountain secret code, but the real challenge has not yet begun. Yunming's tone was solemn. Bai Luoyan has already secretly arranged a bigger conspiracy. If you don't break through faster, it will be difficult to deal with it. Ro Yunyu clenched the scroll and fragments in her hand, and the Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird stood on either side of her, their eyes resolute. She secretly vowed in her heart, no matter how dangerous the road ahead is, she will collect the complete secret code, master the power, and uncover the truth behind her sister. At this moment, a vision suddenly appeared in the sky. Countless streamers fell like a galaxy, as if the essence of heaven and earth was gathering, and the spiritual energy fluctuated violently. Ro Yunyu felt an unprecedented opportunity for spiritual power, and also understood that this could be the next opportunity to break through. Chapter 39. In the vision, Ro Yunyu began to channel spiritual power, fusing thunder and fire, ice crystal fragments with the power of the blood feather phantom bird, and the spiritual energy in her body was like a rushing river, impacting the meridians and state of mind. With every breath, she felt the spiritual power reweaving in her body, like the essence of heaven and earth flowing again. Suddenly, there was a low sound in the sky, and a huge spirit beast phantom appeared, like a translucent dragon shape, with the power of thunder and lightning and frost. It is not an enemy, but a trial of the spiritual mountain to test her state of mind and the fusion of strength. Ro Yunyu closed his eyes and completely integrated his mind into the spiritual power flow method, communicating with the phantom dragon's mind. The phantom dragon's whole body flashed with light, and her spiritual power resonated with her state of mind, making her cultivation break through again. Thunder fire, purple red light, and ice blue light intertwined in her body, and for the first time, she felt the power of her true power to become the successor of Spirit Mountain. Chapter 40. After breaking through, Ro Yunyu opened her eyes and felt the balance and surging spiritual power, and her whole body was filled with power that resonated with heaven and earth. The Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird also sensed this energy, and their tails and wings patted the ground and air, emitting thunder and purple red light. Yunming smiled. You already have the strength to compete with Bai Luoyan head-on, but there are more conspiracies and challenges ahead. Ro Yunyu looked up at the other side of the clouds, and in the distance, he could vaguely see the outline of the family castle, as well as the secret realm of the spiritual mountain shrouded in fog. She understood that the next journey would be even more sinister, and her sister's plot could involve the fate of the entire Spirit Mountain. She clutched the fragments and scrolls in her hand. The Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird surrounded her, secretly vowing in her heart, no matter how dangerous the road ahead is, she will collect the complete secret code, uncover the family conspiracy, and become the true heir to the Spirit Mountain. Chapter 41. Ro Yunyu led the Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird into the secret realm of the Spirit Mountain, where the mountains were undulating like waves and the fog was permeated, like an isolated world. The aura was strong, but it was also weird and fluctuating, as if heaven and earth itself were observing her every move. Yunming's warned, the spiritual power fluctuations in the secret realm are extremely unstable, and if you are not careful, you may be bitten back. Ro Yunyu clenched the scroll tightly, fusing the ice crystal fragments with the power of fire crystals and thunder fire, feeling the spiritual power rushing in his body, like the essence of heaven and earth flowing. She took a deep breath and stepped into the depths of the secret realm. Soon, she discovered a jungle of spiritual plants, where the spiritual grass had a strange shape, its leaves glowing like blades, and its breath had faint strange fluctuations. Ro Yunyu walked carefully, every step needed to sense the flow of spiritual power to avoid being attacked by spiritual plants. At the moment when she was picking spiritual plants, a transparent spirit fox burst out from the shadows of the trees, its tail had a silver light, and its eyes flashed with wisdom. The spirit fox did not attack, but stopped to observe her. Ro Yunyu understood that this was another spiritual test. She closed her eyes, fused her state of mind with spiritual power, and tried to establish a spiritual connection with the spirit fox. Surprise flashed in the spirit fox's eyes, and finally nodded slightly, emitting silver light around her body, and the spiritual power feedback accelerated the fusion speed in her body. Chapter 42. The spirit fox led Ro Yunyu to the depths of the secret realm, and an ancient stone hall appeared in front of him, with complex runes engraved on the door, emitting a dark blue light. Yunming said in a deep voice, "This is the sealing hall of Ling Mountain, which contains key clues to the secret scriptures of Ling Mountain, but at the same time it is extremely dangerous. Ro Yunyu's heart tightened, but he still stepped into the hall resolutely. In the center of the stone hall, a crystal with a flickering purple-red light appeared, and the surrounding runes automatically rotated, attacking those who approached it like a living creature. She channeled the power of thunder fire crystals and ice crystal fragments into her heart, and the spiritual power flowed like three rivers blending together, forming a purple-red thunder fire shield to resist rune attacks. The runes made a crisp sound under the impact of the light shield, and the light flickered like lightning and thunder. Ro Yunyu felt that his spiritual power and state of mind were completely tested, his breathing and spiritual power were completely synchronized, and every gesture was related to life and death. In the end, she broke through the defense line of the state of mind, and the rune light turned into countless points of light and flew into the crystal, and the crystal gently floated into her hand, exuding incomparably pure spiritual power. Ro Yunyu felt that his cultivation had improved greatly again, almost reaching the realm of head-on confrontation with Bai Luoyan. Chapter 43. After leaving the Sealing Stone Hall, Ro Yun leaped into the dark canyon in the secret realm, where the aura was strong but full of strange psychedelic illusions. The stone path under her feet suddenly cracked and fell into the abyss, and the surrounding mist grabbed her like a palm, trying to engulf her. Ro Yunyu calmly used the state of mind method, fusing spiritual power with thunder and fire, blood feather phantom birds, and ice crystal fragments to form a spiritual power bridge. Stabilize your steps, and avoid the illusion trap. For the first time, she truly realized that practice is not only power, but also wisdom and state of mind work in sync. Just as she crossed the canyon, a low laugh sounded, and Bai Luoyan's phantom appeared, turning into countless clones to fight her. The clones' attack was fierce, and every swing brought out the energy intertwined with thunder, fire, and golden light, trying to consume her spiritual power and will. Ro Yunyu did not flinch, she closed her eyes, completely integrated her state of mind into her own spiritual power, and fought in coordination with the power of the phantom beast, and every counterattack was intertwined with thunder and fire and ice crystal light, gradually forcing Bai Luoyan phantom to retreat. Chapter 44. Deep in the dark canyon, Ro Yunyu discovered an ancient altar, on which the light of the last fragment of the Spirit Mountain secret scripture emerged. She felt that the spiritual power emitted by the fragment was stronger than any previous fragment, as if calling her to approach. However, the fragment was guarded by an ancient spirit shadow beast, its whole body flashed with black and purple light, and its eyes carried 1,000 years of wisdom and coercion. Ro Yunyu understood that fragments could not be obtained by strength alone, and he had to establish a connection with spiritual power with his heart. She took a deep breath, completely fused the power of the state of mind, thunder and fire, ice crystals, and blood feather phantom birds, and slowly reached out to approach the ancient spirit shadow beast. Surprise flashed in the spirit shadow beast's eyes, feeling her determination to merge with the essence of heaven and earth, and finally lowered her head and handed her the fragment. Ro Yunyu felt the spiritual power flowing back rapidly, the thunder fire, ice crystals, and blood feather phantom bird power in her body were perfectly integrated, and for the first time, she felt the complete power of the spiritual mountain secret scripture running in her body. Chapter 45. After collecting the complete fragments, Ro Yunyu stood at the top of the secret realm, her eyes shining with perseverance. Yunmings walked over slowly, with a hint of pride in his tone. You already have the strength to compete head-on with Bai Luoyan, but the family conspiracy has not yet been revealed. She clutched the fragments and scrolls, and the thunder spirit wolf and the blood feather phantom bird surrounded her, feeling that she was completely resonating with the spiritual power of heaven and earth. Suddenly, there was a low sound in the sky, and Bai Luoyan appeared, golden light, thunder and fire intertwined, and the momentum was fierce. She sneered, you've finally gathered all the pieces, but that's just the beginning. Can you truly master the power of the secret code, determine the fate of Ling Shan, and also determine the future of our family? Ro Yunyu stared at her sister, her eyes full of determination. She understood that the real ultimate showdown was coming, and the full power of the Spirit Mountain secret book would decide everything between life and death, and she was no longer the weak and helpless girl. Chapter 46. Above the clouds, thunder and fire were intertwined with golden light, and Ro Yunyu and Bai Luoyan confronted each other in the air. The air was filled with strong spiritual power fluctuations, mountain peaks shaking, and clouds and mist churning, as if heaven and earth were witnessing this life and death showdown. Bai Luoyan took the lead in attacking, and golden thunder and fire burst out from her palm, like a dragon pounced on Ro Yunyu. She resisted with all her might, fusing the power of fire crystals, thunder fire, and ice crystal fragments to form a purple-red thunder fire shield to resist the invasion of golden light. Bai Luoyan mocked, "Do you think you can match me by collecting all the fragments? Power is just the beginning, and true power comes from the wisdom of controlling your state of mind and spiritual power." Rou Yunyu nodded secretly in his heart, understanding that only by completely integrating spiritual power, spirit beasts, and state of mind can he break the suppression set by his sister. She took a deep breath and intertwined the power of thunder fire, blood feather phantom birds, ice crystals, and crystal fragments, like the essence of heaven and earth rushing in her body. Chapter 47. The two sides fought, the spiritual power collided, and the clouds seemed to be torn apart. Bai Luoyan used the family secret method, transforming countless thunder and fire clones, and each attack was extremely precise. Rou Yunyu used the state of mind method to fuse his spiritual power with the spirit beast to form multiple layers of light and shadow shields, dissolving the clones one by one. Thunder Spirit Wolf fights side by side with the blood feather phantom bird, her tail and wings swinging to help her direct her spiritual power to the core of her attacks. Every collision of thunder and fire beams brought a loud noise, and the air shook like thunder rolling. Rou Yunyu secretly operated the power of the spiritual mountain secret scripture in his heart, introducing the fragment power into the meridians, and every breath resonated with heaven and earth. She finally felt that the true fusion of strength and wisdom far surpassed any simple practice. Chapter 48. The battle entered a fever pitch, and Bai Luoyan transformed into the family's forbidden technique, the Golden Thunder Illusion Formation, turning the clouds into thunder and fire vortexes, in an attempt to block Rou Yunyu's spiritual power operation. Rou Yunyu closed her eyes and fused the power of lightning and fire, ice crystals, the blood-feathered phantom bird, and crystal fragments. Her spiritual energy surged like a surging river, breaking through the restraints of the Golden Thunder Formation. She raised her hand, and a streak of purple-red lightning, like a giant dragon, pierced the air, striking Bai Luoyan's core. Surprise and resentment flashed in Bai Luoyan's eyes, but she still counterattacked with golden light. The two immense spiritual energies collided, shattering the mountain. Thunder and fire, combined with golden light, formed a towering pillar of light that soared into the sky. At this moment, Rou Yunyu understood that strength is not the only one, and state of mind and wisdom are the key to determining victory or defeat. Chapter 49. The purple-red thunder hit Bai Luoyan's core, and the spiritual power fluctuations spread throughout the clouds. Bai Luoyan was forced to retreat, the golden light gradually dissipated, her phantom trembled, and finally revealed her true face, a woman who was both proud and complicated. Rou Yunyu stepped forward slowly, placed the fragments and scrolls in his hand, and his eyes were resolute. "Sister, all conspiracies have been revealed, and the complete power of the Spirit Mountain secret book will be guarded by me." Bai Luoyan was silent for a moment, then nodded slightly, and complex emotions flashed in her eyes. She retracted the golden light, and the clouds returned to tranquility, but the spiritual power fluctuations still echoed in the air, as if heaven and earth were shaking for this showdown. Yunmings walked to Rou Yunyu's side and smiled, "You have become the true successor to the spiritual mountain, with a perfect combination of strength, wisdom, and state of mind, which is enough to protect the spiritual mountain and the family." Chapter 50. After cleaning up the battlefield, Rou Yunyu stood on the top of the spiritual mountain, with the Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird on her side, holding the complete fragments of the spiritual mountain secret book in her hand, and the spiritual power in her body was like the essence of heaven and earth rushing. She closed her eyes and felt the breath of the spiritual mountain, the spiritual power, the spirit beast, and the state of mind merged with heaven and earth. The weakness and helplessness of the past have long since dissipated, replaced by confidence and perseverance. Rou Yunyu opened her eyes and looked at the cloud castle in the distance, secretly vowing in her heart, no matter how sinister the future is, she will protect the spirit mountain, reveal the secrets of the family, and become the true successor to the spiritual mountain. The Thunder Spirit Wolf roared low, the blood-feathered phantom bird flapped its wings, and the purple-red light and thunder and fire intertwined into light, like a blessing from heaven and earth. Rou Yun took a deep breath and embarked on a new chapter in the future. Her adventure had just begun. Extra Chapter 1, The Adventure of the Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird. As soon as Rou Yunyu left the Lingshan Castle, the Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird chased and played in the mountains and forests. Their strengths and personalities are very different. The Thunder Spirit Wolf is low and powerful, and when its tail is swung, it brings fierce wind and thunder. The Blood Feather Phantom Bird was light and agile, and the vibration of its wings brought out a fiery red light, like dancing fireworks. On this day, the two found strange light and shadow in the depths of the mountains and forests. The Thunder Spirit Wolf sniffed the air and roared to remind the Blood Feather Phantom Bird to stay alert. The flame-like wings vibrated slightly, and the blood-feathered phantom bird let out a crisp chirping, as if responding to the wolf's warning. They followed the light and shadow and accidentally broke into a spiritual land covered in ancient runes. The runes glowed faintly, emitting strange energy, like seals. Thunder Spirit Wolf felt the unstable fluctuations brought by this force, his hair stood on end, and his whole body flashed with thunder. The blood-feather phantom bird spread its wings and flew high, directing the flame light above the runes, trying to break the seal. As the thunder and fire collided with the runes, the entire spiritual land was shrouded in light, and the runes seemed to come to life, forming a labyrinth of light. The Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird flew through the maze. Thunder and fire intertwined, bringing out shocking light and shadow, like a symphony of thunder rolling and fireworks. Deep in the labyrinth, an ancient spirit crystal emerged, emitting blue-purple light. The Thunder Spirit Wolf roared lowly, its tail flapped, and the power of the spirit crystal was introduced into the Blood Feather Phantom Bird, and the flames on the wings instantly transformed into purple-red light, like the fusion of the essence of heaven and earth. The Blood Feather Phantom Bird spread its wings and jumped, capturing the spirit crystal lightly, while the Thunder Spirit Wolf guarded the left and right, its eyes flashing with vigilant light. They felt the blessing of the power of the spirit crystal. The thunder and fire energy in their bodies were newly improved, and the spiritual power flow was purer and more powerful than before. After this adventure, the Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird had a deeper tacit understanding, and their connection with Ro Yunyu was also deeper. They secretly understand in their hearts that there are more dangers and challenges ahead, but as long as they work together, any obstacle can be overcome. On this night, thunder flickered and blood feathers burned. They guarded the spirit mountain, and the light and thunder intertwined into an indestructible mark, indicating the determination of the guardians. Extra Chapter 2, Bai Luoyan's Inner Turning and Growth. After Bai Luoyan returned to the Cloud Castle, she stood in front of the window and looked down on the entire spiritual mountain. Her figure intertwined with golden light, thunder and fire flickered in the clouds and mist, but her eyes revealed a hint of exhaustion and confusion that she had never experienced before. In the past, she pursued power and did whatever it took to gain power and control her family, even at the cost of killing her parents. Now, her sister Ro Yunyu has collected the fragments of the Lingshan secret code, and her strength and state of mind far surpass her own. Bai Luoyan felt a real threat for the first time, and it was also the first time she faced her heart. In the dead of night, she practiced the family secret method alone. Her spiritual power fluctuated like a river, but every release brought a concussion to the mind. She closed her eyes and recalled her parents' smiles, her sister's perseverance, and the decisions she had made. In this loneliness, Bai Luoyan realized for the first time that if power lacks state of mind and wisdom, it will only bring loneliness and emptiness. She silently withdrew the golden light and thunder fire, introduced her spiritual power into her state of mind practice, and felt the gradual integration of her spiritual power and state of mind in her body. A few months later, she stepped into the ancient forest of Lingshan and encountered a 1,000-year-old spirit fox. The spirit fox's spiritual power was profound, like a mirror reflecting the inner world. Bai Luoyan establishes a psychic connection with the spirit fox, who guides her in understanding the importance of balancing strength and state of mind. After a long period of practice, Bai Luoyan's heart gradually softened and her wisdom grew, and she began to understand that protecting the spiritual mountain and family was the true value of strength. Although she and Ro Yunyu were once at odds, she gradually developed respect for her sister in her heart. This time, Bai Luoyan's growth is no longer just an increase in strength, but a true awakening of her heart and wisdom. She knows that if she and her sister stand side by side in the future, they may be able to protect the fate of Lingshan together. Extra Chapter 3, An Unexpected Discovery in the Secret Realm of Ling Mountain. Ro Yunyu stepped into the secret realm of Ling Mountain again. This time her goal was not to be fragments, but to explore the unknown realm deep in the spiritual mountain. The Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird accompanied each other, and the power of the three resonated with each other, and the momentum was powerful. In the depths of the secret realm, visions are continuous. The trees shimmered like crystals, the rivers glowed blue, and the air was filled with unknown spiritual power fluctuations. Ro Yunyu felt a strong energy, as if an ancient being was watching her. They followed the spiritual power fluctuations and unexpectedly discovered a forbidden land surrounded by the two elements of ice and fire. Thunder and fire intertwined with ice crystals, forming a strange wall of light, like the crystallization of the essence of heaven and earth. Yu stepped in carefully, his spiritual power resonated with the wall of light, and he felt the thunder and ice crystal power in his body accelerate. In the center of the Forbidden Land, an ancient spirit beast had been sleeping for thousands of years, its whole body was intertwined with ice and fire, and its eyes emitted a pale purple light. Yu established a spiritual connection with the spirit beast, and the spirit beast seemed to understand her intentions, slowly spreading its wings and bringing up a vortex of ice and fire. A strange crystal appeared in the vortex, exuding extremely pure spiritual power. Yu carefully took it off and introduced it into his own thunder, ice crystal, and blood feather phantom bird power, feeling the spiritual power fusion further improved. This unexpected discovery not only enhanced her spiritual power, but also made her understand that every secret place in Lingshan contains unknown adventures, and only by having the courage to explore can one continuously break through one's own limits. The Thunder Spirit Wolf and the Blood Feather Phantom Bird are guarding by their side, and the three are connected, so future adventures are more possible.